All right, then let's give it 5 more seconds and let's start. If you guys can start the recording, that would be amazing. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Community Talk number 22. My name is Colson, and I'm your host for today. We have an exciting agenda filled with some amazing segments and updates. Let me start off with some community updates for you. Graph Advocates DAO has onboarded 15 new Graph Advocates last month from 9 different countries, including India, Belgium, and Argentina. The total of subgraphs that have migrated to the decentralized network is now over 800. Eat Lisbon will be happening from May 12th to May 14th. In Lisbon, there will be bounties for hackers that make the best new subgraphs and the best use of existing subgraphs. The graph has recently been featured on Fortune and Bloomberg, and 4 new episodes of the GRT podcast have released. 109 with the co-founder at Mimic, 110 with 2 people from Daplooker, so we see them in the server a lot, very nice to see. Then we had 111 with Vincent from Superfluid, and we had 112 with Chibudem, who is a Graph Advocate and Graph Advocate's DAO member, and we will hear more from him later on this episode. The monthly core dev updates have been posted on the forum, and you can read up on them there. And we have our first speaker here today now. Christopher Ching has recently joined the Hong Kong Web3 Festival and represented the Graph. What can you tell us about it? I'm not sure if the mic issue is resolved here. Could you please try to fix your mic once again, and then we will circle back to you later on. I can see that you can unmute, but I can't hear anything, so maybe you need to put on the push to talk. All right. The text translations have been going very well. The graph advocates have been very busy with that, and a lot of languages have been translated fully now, including Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, and Urdu, and they also have been proofread, so you will hopefully see them online very soon, which means that a lot of local language communities can then read the docs and the website in their local language. There was a very good contribution by Graph Advocate Arroyo, who made a Graph client tutorial that got great feedback from the community and might be used in the docs later on as well. So that was really cool. And we also have support for the Sepolia testnet live in beta now in the Subgraph studio. And I would like to invite Marcus to talk more about this and other updates.
Yeah, hey everybody. And yes, Colson is on it with that. Sepolia is live in Subgraph Studio, and that's a really important step for continuing development for Web3 developers all over, really. I mean, I was developing with Gorelli a few weeks ago, and it was just difficult, just with the ETH being so scarce right now. And now that Sepolia is there, I was able to really accelerate my own development. So just want everyone out there to know Sepolia is live in Subgraph Studio and have some.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marcus. And yeah, there was a lot of questions about this from the community, and I'm happy that the testnet or the integration is now live on testnet on the Subgraph Studio. So very nice to see. For our first segment, we are going to go back to eTokyo. We had a lot of Graph advocates there, a lot of DAO members there, and a lot of core developers there that taught the hackers about the Graph, joined the hackathon, joined side events, promoted the Graph at multiple side events. So it was very nice to see. And we will have multiple people here that were there and would like to share a little bit about it. So first, I would like to introduce Jim, who has been doing a great job in the grant committee of Graph Advocates DAO, and he was at eTokyo. Jim, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, yeah. Although this is not my first time to Japan, yeah, but participating in the East Tokyo gave me a different feeling than before. Yes, a thousand people participate in the hackathon, and we connect with more people than just focusing on our own project. Yeah, I'm glad that my team got some prize. Yeah, so but the prize is not the most important thing. I think the most important is the most thing is people connect to each other, and we are from so many different countries, and it's hard to meet each other if we don't join these awesome events. But my original goal was go to Tokyo to see the guys from the Grave and the Grave Advocates style. Yeah, uh, and I got to meet them. Yeah, just like the Coulson, the Pranav, and the Slim. Yeah, also yeah, it's so different than meeting online. So I I suggest you, if you have the chance to join the events like the it's global, yeah, or other events. uh, I think you should go to there and meet the people you never meet them in the real life. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. I would also like to ask Marcus to share his experience about eTokyo. I believe he was also in the team who was judging the project, so maybe you could tell us a little bit about the project that was submitted.
Yeah, you bet. The first off, if anyone here has not had a chance to go to a Ethereum event like ETH Tokyo, please go. The energy is incredible. The spirit of the everyone from the sponsors to the developers, everyone is really aligned and working hard together, and just it was incredible to see firsthand. So anytime you see an event like that around you, go, go, go. And in terms of the quality of the projects across the board, were incredible. The one of the teams that won with one of the prizes that we're offering. Once again, it's not about the prizes, but just to see the creativity. It was a micro lending DApp that allowed people who may not have the opportunity to get loans of any type in potentially situations that are not advantageous to them. It allowed them to get their loans and have small loans that can really be life changing. And that was really that connected with me, and that's got my vote for them. And they ended up winning. And it was really fun to see that and many other projects that were really value aligned with just helping people and just doing amazing things with the Web3 that has been built, and especially with the graph. Saw some great projects. So, yes. Anything you want to add to that, Colson?
Yeah, sure. I'll also give my own experience, but Andrea is here as well. So I just asked in the chat if she wanted to share her thoughts. Andrea was volunteering at the event for Eat Global, and she's also a graph advocate. So I would like to ask her if she wants to share her experience of the hackathon. Not sure if permissions are needed or how that works.
Hey Carson, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, so we will go back to Crypto Beijing and then I'll share my thoughts on the Eat Tokyo one and then we can continue. So just to remind everyone, Crypto Beijing recently went to the Hong Kong Web3 Festival and represented the graph there. And I would like to ask him how that was and what you did and yeah, would you recommend it to us? I cannot hear you anymore now.
We have just more than like 100 Web3 events in Hong Kong last week. And the main event is hosted by the Wanxiang Blockchain Lab. And Wanxiang Blockchain Lab is the seed investor of the Ethereum Foundation. And the name Shanghai Upgrade is partly because of Vitalik's good memory of Shanghai. And so in this web festival, I wear a graph T-shirt, walking around. And when walking around in Hong Kong, always some developers will stop me and they shouted at me and graph. and they'll be so interested to know more about graph. So I will feel so proud. And also on April 15th, I advocate graph in the Hong Kong Poly University, and the students and the teachers, they want to know more about the graph. And in my opinion, the graph is just so important because whenever they try to build a D app, they always want to query some data, and the graph is always a good option for the developers. So I feel so proud and to represent graph in this Web3 festival in Hong Kong.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Ah, good. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT I could create a Google Forms type quiz with Cello and the graph, and it just started coding right away. So that was pretty cool. Eventually, it didn't make the full project, but it did make a good subgraph. So yeah, it was very interesting experience, and I might join another one in the future. But it was like Jim said, it was great to meet everyone, meet people from Edgenode, from the foundation, all of the graph advocates. There were a lot of graph advocates from Japan there as well, so it was great to see. And I think we might get about 5 graph advocates applying that had a really, really good presence at the event. So that would be very, very nice to see. And I hope to see more people, especially in Lisbon. We could meet up and we could have some fun there. So very, very nice. All right, for our next segment, it's about the new billing. We'll have Brandon discussing the new billing system that allows users to pay for their queries using credit cards. He will explain how the system works and its benefits for the community.
Hey everybody, can you hear me? I
Yep.
think should be good. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and give a brief overview. Hopefully I can actually share, but if I can't, I'll just kind of give you the overview here. So let's see how this goes. Bear with me just a minute while I go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so I guess I will not share my screen because I would have to quit and reopen. So I'll do that later, and instead I'll just kind of give the overview. Basically, if you're familiar with billing today, it is a complicated process. You basically have to go into Subgraph Studio, you connect your wallet, you got to go to billing, you add GRT, and then you have to go to an external exchange to actually acquire GRT. And in my case, I use the centralized exchange. In New York, I have to wait 7 to 10 days to even be able to remove GRT from that centralized exchange. Once you're actually able to bring that over to the Graphs billing system, you'll need to know how much you would need to deposit, how that corresponds to queries, and then you actually go through the process of paying. So needless to say, this is overly complicated, overly time consuming, and there's a lot of steps involved. So what we've really been working on over the past maybe 3 to 5 months is trying to streamline that experience and making that much better. We want to maintain that flexible pay-as-you-go option that you have, but we want to streamline the number of steps, the amount of time, and increase the predictability of this pricing experience. And moreover, we want to make it a little bit easier for billing operators, those who are running billing systems, to be able to do this in a much more streamlined, easy fashion. So what we're looking to advance over the next few months or so is to offer subscriptions to the Graph community. And what this will look like is something like when you enter as a developer or a consumer, you'd enter the billing experience and be able to choose from a number of plans. Let's say, for instance, we have 3 plans. The main 3 plans that we're hoping to offer are something along the lines of, and I'll say that this isn't all set in stone, but this is pretty close to what we're hoping to offer. 3 different plans that'll be: 1, pay-as-you-go, which is a lot like the billing experience today. So you'll have that flexible pay-as-you-go. You won't be committed to paying a certain amount or getting a set number of queries, and you take care of curation on your own. However, we're also going to add 2 additional plans. One is a consumer plan. It's really optimized for consumers, those who use other subgraphs that already exist on the network and don't need to develop or publish a new subgraph. But they, instead of having this pay-as-you-go option, would lock in a set number of queries for a set price over the course of the next month. For instance, let's just say you get 1 million queries for 100 USDC, and then you'd be able to lock that in and don't have to think about billing for the next month. The other plan that we're looking to advance, and this might come a little bit further down the road, is a developer bundle. And this is along the lines of you'd be able to lock in those set number of queries at a fixed price, but also have the billing operator be able to publish your subgraph for you, cover for curation, be able to offer you, periodic upgrades, monthly upgrades, as well as priority support, which would obviously be included in what we're hoping to offer in the consumer plan as well. So we're thinking that this will streamline the experience quite a bit. And you might be wondering, many kind of think of, think of these subscription plans as like, what are the 3 options you'd have? You'd have these 3 options. How many queries do you get? You'd be able to choose that number of queries with a slider right underneath the option of those 3 plans. So it could, fit for if you use 1,000 queries a month or 1 million queries a month. It'd be pretty easy to just use that slider to go back and forth to set the queries you want, and that would give you a price estimate. Otherwise, you can do the opposite, set your spending limit, and find out how many queries that will cover. So that interactive slider, you basically pick your plan, interact with that slider, and then choose the payment method for you. And today we only offer, only support GRT, but in the future we're looking to support, actually I stand corrected, we have GRT and fiat payments. We just added banks a couple weeks ago, so we have those 2 options, but we're looking to add a third as well. We'll have pay-as-you-go, USDC as one of the payment options as well for subscriptions. So that will leave you with stablecoins, fiat, or GRT. In the future, there's possibilities we can even expand this more. Obviously, we want to continue to get user feedback on this to find out what the most prominent payment methods would be, but we're really looking to take this next step and to do that. So overall, what do you get with Billing 2.0 is what we're calling this subscriptions model alongside pay-as-you-go. So first off, both pay-as-you-go and or the existing system today and subscriptions would be integrated together in a much more streamlined experience. You still have that pay-as-you-go flexible process if you want that, but you also have monthly subscriptions, a built-in cost and query estimations, and this I think would impact both pay-as-you-go as well as subscriptions. You can pay in multiple currencies. Eventually, we'll have managed subgraph plans, which will help abstract some of the complexity with curation and publish and upgrades on a monthly or periodic basis. And furthermore, this system is going to be completely trustless. And what I mean by that is, right now today you can add GRT, and you don't have any concern about whether how that's going to happen. You just basically put in your deposit and you can pull that out at any time. We want this to translate to a subscription as well. So unlike a Web2 company, you might put in that full amount for a monthly deposit for your subscription and lock that in, but you're never going to be able to pull that out if you get poor quality of service. In this subscription service, you'll be able to deposit, say, 100 USDC that locks in that 1 million queries a month. But if you get halfway through the month and you're not pleased with your quality of service, you'll be able to pull that amount back out based on the amount of time has passed. So basically, if you get halfway through, find out your quality of service is poor, you can take back half of that money or your deposit and be able to move to a different billing operator or explore different options so that you're not out that total cost for the whole month. So we wanted to keep some of that flexibility. So on the billing operator side, this is a much more streamlined experience, and it helps to automate a lot of the operations, so it'll make it much easier for those that are running billing as well. Okay, so with all that said, those are the things we're looking to add. I'll get to Polly B's question in just a second, but the kind of the broader go-to-market, actually maybe I'll take that right now. No, so your Polybee's question is if we're paying in US or if a user's paying with USDC, does that change GRT on the backend? That will not. Users will pay a billing operator in USDC or fiat, but that does not impact how billing operators and indexers are interacting. All of that's happening with GRT on the back end. So there's no real threat or concern. GRT still has a ton of utility, and obviously will still grow in usage in that sense. Okay, so now thinking about this in a broader kind of like go-to-market trajectory or a broader vision of where we're going with payments over the coming months. The main goal that I have as somebody that's thinking about pricing and payments within the graph ecosystem is really get to experience where we have a set it and forget it like billing experience. Basically, I want users to be able to enter billing and choose their plan, either to be subscriptions or pay as you go, and then set up recurring payments. So once they set up that plan, they no longer have to think about payments. It just happens automatically for them. And this will help reduce a lot of the burden that users have today. So the steps to get there are first, introducing fiat payments. We've already done that, obviously, with pay as you go. We'll have that in subscriptions as well. Hopefully, at the same time, we launch for a broad audience. In the short term, we're really looking to implement subscriptions through a billing 2.0 MVP. This will be a smaller group, but maybe 30 to 50 users that will help us kind of test and make sure that this is up to the standards that we have. And then we'll release this to a broader audience a little bit later this year. So that will offer, again, that price predictability. It will help devs and consumers be able to pay in stablecoins, fiat, and GRT. And this will also streamline the backend for billing operators to have a little bit easier process in managing that as well. Shortly after that, we're looking to or to implement auto recurring payments. And this will mean that users that have to go through the kind of a weekly or monthly process of trying to figure out their manual payment will no longer have to do that. They'll set up kind of that deposit that they'll put in when they start their plan. And then on a monthly basis, they'll just be able to upgrade this payment amount. It'll happen automatically, whether it's crypto or whether it's your credit card. And then shortly after that, we'll move towards managed subgraph plans where we can, again, abstract curation, publication, and upgrades from users that are especially new to the ecosystem. So they won't have that burden of trying to figure that out. Instead, they can just kind of go ahead and get the queries that they need and be able to focus on the dApp that they care most about. But with all those things in mind, we'll get to that point where we'll have that set it and forget experience, reach that kind of Web 2 parity in a sense, and then be able to expand. We have a number of other things that we're thinking about as well, but really that's the main target that we're looking to hit over the next several months. So I think that's all from me. I can either take questions now or towards the end.
Thank you so much. And if people have questions, they can also leave them in the chat as well. I want to ask, where can we follow up with this? Where can we read more info? But that link is already posted in the chat room. So if people want to check that out, the forum post is Lorena posted in the chat room. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Once again, Brendan, thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, we have in the audience someone that hosted a really cool event. Chibudem, would you like us to tell us about your event?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Chibudem, and I'm an advocate, and I'm also a member of the Graph Advocates DAO. I would like to take a moment to share some highlights of the workshop that Charles and myself hosted this past weekend. I think the link will be shared to pictures of from the event. I think the event was very amazing for me and every other person that was there. We had a great turnout with over 40 people in attendance. And it was also cool that it happened to coincide with the final day of Tokyo. So the workshop itself that held this weekend now, it was the second in a 4-part series. The first part was hosted on the 10th of February, and there we sort of did an introduction to the Graph, the different network participants, and the Graph Advocates program. The second part, which was just concluded, there we focused on building a subgraph on Ethereum. And in this session, we covered blockchain basics, smart contracts, and how subgraphs help to make data easily accessible. So moving forward, the next two workshops in the series will be more hands-on, and there we plan to build a subgraph to track a specific event, and finally like coordinate a hackathon and award a prize for the best new subgraph. Our goals with these events is to encourage more people to become more involved as either curators, delegators, subgraph developers, and also the advocates program. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And I still want to know who your cameraman is because you have such good pictures every time. Thank you so much for joining. We have some more forum posts that we would like to share. The monthly core dev updates have been posted on the forum by Semiotic, Streaming Fast, EdgeNode, Missouri, GraphHopes, and the Guild, and we will share them right now. And the core dev call recording from the last core dev call has also been released on the forum, so we can also share that one in the chat room. There will be the graph/Chainlink workshop and presentation on April 27th in Uruguay, and the Graph Espanol is hosting that one or promoting it, so you'll share that one. If you are around from there, you can join that one. The 800 subgraph is the Vela exchange, the 800 subgraph on the decentralized network, so you can check that out. There was a really cool forum post about it. The Polygon ZK EVM is out now on mainnet, on the Subgraph Studio, so you can build subgraphs for Polygon ZK EVM. The Subgraph DAO is onboarding new members soon, so if you want to join that, please reach out in the Graph Protocol Discord server or join the Subgraph DAO Discord server, so we can start getting the process going. And then also the House of Web3. There was a post from the House of Web3 on the Q1 updates. There was 150 plus founders, 100 plus engineers, and 75 plus business pros at the events hosted by the House of Web3. If you would like to join any of these events, you would need to get an invitation, and you can apply for that one at the link that we will share in the chat right now. It's the edgenode.com site, so you can apply there. There's an upcoming hackathon at the House of Web3 on May 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. sponsored by EdgeNode. And if you would like to join that one, please go to buildeat.io and you can apply there. And also, Graph Advocates DAO and the entire Graph ecosystem is always willing and always open for community grant proposals. So if you would like to do a community grant proposal, you can go to grants.graphadvocates.com, or you could apply to the Graph website to the community grants program from the Graph Foundation. And from that, those were all of my community updates. If I missed anything, guys, please tell me. Before we conclude today's community talk, I would like to remind you that the upcoming Indexer office hours is today at 1800 UTC, and the monthly core dev call is on Thursday, April 20th at 1500 UTC. Also, don't forget to check the monthly core developer updates on the forum. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Community Talk. We will now open the floor for Q&A. So if you have any questions for any of the speakers today, feel free to ask them. If you have no further questions, I would like to wish you a great day, and we hope to see you again next month. So thank you, everyone.